Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening. Happy Thursday. And I hope you are having a great day and going into a great evening, peaceful evening in quarantine, pandemic. I don't know what number or day this is for you, but welcome to Ladies' Night. Welcome to Ladies' Night. Ladies, I hope you are just faring well and in your groove and your sweet spot of just, making the most of the time, making the most of every opportunity that you have. We're learning a different type of ability and grace in this season that we're in. We're being stretched, we're being pulled, we're really exercising new fruit, new things that we never thought is pulling things out of us. Welcome all the ladies from Ladies Night. Nadia Torres, hello. I see some of the ladies from Bronx. Marie Kelsey, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. So glad to see you all in virtual land. Miss everybody. Let's see who we have here. Adrian, hello. Raquel, Mercy, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Some of you logged on early. Dee Dee Lowe, thank you so much. And we're going to have a good time tonight. It's going to be really, really good. I'm going to have an opportunity to talk with Tiffany Pollard, a reality star, and we're just going to talk about some things. I think it's important that we continue to develop in our relationships, and we're going to talk about toxicity in relationships tonight. So get your water, get your snacks, popcorn, whatever it is that you want to munch on, a snack on, to be comfortable and just hang out for however long we go. In fact, I'm not going to keep you too long, but I just want you to know how much I appreciate you being on here. All right, Jennifer, welcome. Ladies' Night. I wish I had the music. Shalonda says she has her popcorn. All right. Yes. Hi, Jessica. Hey, Justina. Adrian Lewis, welcome. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. This is Ladies' Night. All the radical women, all the radical. Come on in. We're in quarantine. We're in virtual land. We're ready for a good conversation. A good conversation. Y'all ready for a good conversation? That's what it's all about. Everything begins with conversation and dialogue. Don't be afraid to have dialogue and talk and just get out on topics and subjects that maybe you hadn't explored before. Sometimes we're so cautious, we're so safe, we're so inclined to not want to get out of the boat and talk about things that make us uncomfortable. But you know what? That's what this pandemic has been all about, is just really upsetting the apple cart so that we can kind of know more about ourselves, about each other, and about the relationships that we have in our life. And so it's time to tackle this subject, something I've not talked about in the past or had any teachings or anything on, but I feel like it's important that we have this discussion. So I am super excited, and I'm going to bring in my guest for Ladies' Night tonight. There she is.
Hey, Kathy, how you doing?
Hi, Tiffany. How you
Oh my
doing?
goodness, I'm so excited to be here. First of all, I want to say hello to you and all your viewers. Hello to my family. I know my mom is so excited that I'm here. So everyone's tuned in, and I'm excited about the topic. It's a good one, and I'm going to share.
Yes. You're looking fabulous there.
Well, thank you, girl. Now, Taffy, you knew I had to do the most. I said, I'm coming on to talk to my girl. So I threw on my red lip. I got my little motorcycle jacket on.
I
And my
love
hair
it.
was
The hair is just fabulous. I love the
Thank you.
curls,
It's big, huh?
the volume. Oh, yes. We are here for it all, Tiffany.
Oh, well, you always look good, girl. Like your colorist, oh my goodness. I always love the tone of your hair. You just know how to hit it, Taffy, every time.
So shout out to Mom for logging in. Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
my biggest supporter right there. You know,
I
Mom's
know it.
always gonna have my back.
Hey, thank God for the moms. Where would we
Amen.
be? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. I have my mom's in heaven. I know she's looking down on me, so but yeah.
Oh, bless her. Yes, yes. You
Mhm.
know she's still there.
That's
Amen.
right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So how's it going in quarantine? You traveling some, right? Kind of moving
Yeah,
around just a
I did
little.
a little. I did a little traveling, and let me just say this, Taffy. Literally, this is my first time out of quarantine, so to speak, if you will. You know, I was so excited to do your show because I've really been off to the side, tucked away. Because when the pandemic struck, I think I just didn't know what to do with it emotionally. Like it really
Mhm.
just took me back. Like, and sometimes you got that fight or flight reaction. So for me, I think I just froze. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, is this life the new way of living? You know, it just really took me a seat or two back. So I just been in a holding pattern. You know, all my friends have been texting me loving things. You guys, I know I haven't been replying, but don't think I didn't see them, and it definitely touched me. But now I'm just coming out of my shell a little bit, if you will. And, you know, I would talk to my mom about it, and she was like, you know, take your time, do what you need to do. Because I had some projects and different things I was working on. And then obviously, I'm sure that's the story of everyone's life. This pandemic hit, and, you know, we had to take several seats. But you know, she understood and she was like, just take this time to be with yourself and be with the Lord and work on you. So now I'm out and I'm back, and this is my first time out with you, girl. Ladies night.
That's so good. Yeah, it has been just so strange and unusual. I'm still getting my bearings. It's like, wow, we are in, I don't know how many days it is for you, but almost like 8 weeks or so.
I know. And we couldn't have predict this coming. Like we've never lived through anything like this. So I'm thinking we're all just trying to make sense of it. And I also
Mhm.
was going through a little bit of I was feeling a little guilty because I'm like, you know, there's people that are really going through this in a different way and they're really experiencing some hard times and losing loved ones. And I was like, girl, if you don't get yourself together and stop, you know, feeling sorry for yourself. But no, that was actually my lane. It was okay for the pandemic to affect me and for me to understand, hey, no, this affected you too, you know? So um yeah, it really shook me for a while.
Yes,
But I went through
unfortunately.
it.
So many people have, lost loved ones and lost their lives, lost their
Yeah,
jobs, and it's just
it's a
oh
very hard
my God,
time. But I
very
think
difficult.
we should acknowledge the fact that it's okay if like you go through a little bit of mental breakdown because I was in denial about it. It's like I was just trying to shrug off any type of difficult feelings I was experiencing and going, hey, well, somebody has it worse than you. But no, my feelings were relevant and I had to work through them. So now I'm like, hey, you know, I'm not alone. And people out there that may be struggling are not alone either. So I think it's important to, you know, reflect on that.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. That's good. Hey, Connie, we got folks coming in. Come on
Ooh,
in,
come
Nicole.
on in, y'all.
Come on in. Tiffany, have you done anything fun during the pandemic?
Oh
I
my
know
goodness.
you have to
What
be
have I
so creative.
yes, well, a lot of time on my hands. Let me just say, I'm so over watching television. I can't watch another show. Like, I don't care how good it is, that TV stays off. I've been trying my hand at well, I'm old school, so I love to Taibo. So I get up, I do my Taibo, of course, after I pray first to get my strength. So I love to do the old school Billy Blank's Taibo tapes. I
All
still
right.
own those. I pop
Wow.
in the DVDs and it's so good, girl. Like it gets me flowing and going. So I do that, and I've been just loving Jello. I've been eating so much Jello, the sugar-free one, and I've been chopping up fresh strawberries and floating it in because my grandmother used to do that. So it's like a retro treat, and it's really,
Uh-huh.
really healthy.
Oh my God. I had an image of you putting in the VHS tape to do typo, but you do have a DVD. All right.
Yeah,
That's
I know. When I said old school, like that's old school. Yeah.
what flavor Jello? You making Jello?
I am. Now, let me just tell you, I love strawberry because that's the classic flavor, but I tried the lime one. I was afraid to try the lime because it was green and I didn't know, but it was so good. It's so refreshing and it's only 10 calories per serving.
Yes, that's true. It's very healthy.
Yeah.
Free? Or you eating the sugar?
I do the sugar-free one because the one with the sugar is 80 calories per serving. So 10 versus 80. I always try to go with the sugar-free one.
You are doing good. I mean, you're monitoring the sugar.
I mean, I try, Taffy, but sometimes I slip up and eat that ice cream too, girl, you know?
Hey, I'm thinking I'm the popcorn with the caramel and the cheese, and you tell me 10 calories for the Jello, and I'm like,
Don't
hey,
you
I
even
need to
start
step
talking
up my
popcorn,
game.
girl. I love popcorn. Have you tried the Garrett's brand popcorn? The
Oh,
one in
my God.
Chicago?
Yes, the
Ooh,
best.
they're so good, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I could eat a whole personal, well, not the personal, I could eat the family size one to myself.
Now, Smart Foods, they make one like
Yeah.
this, and that's been my go-to snack.
Wait, which flavor?
Caramel and cheddar.
I didn't know. Oh my goodness, I have to try those.
Oh,
And
wow.
have you tried the Boom Chica? The Boom Chica brand? I hope I'm saying it right.
Uh-huh.
Back in the
Yeah.
purple bag. I like that one too.
You like that one too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the Smart Foods better, but I can talk about food all day. Um, I'm a foodie and I need to quit because I
We
got
need to get shirts made though, Taffy. Like seriously, because I'm a foodie too. I'm not ashamed of my game. I know how to throw down though. See, that's the thing. If you gotta know how to eat, you better know how to put it together too.
That's right. So mom must have taught you some skills where you've been doing your own study and you know how to put some things together and cook.
Yes, well, you know, mom taught me a lot. She gave me a lot of really good recipes that I like to go toward. Like, no, when my mom's in the kitchen, you're gonna eat it all. You're gonna eat whatever she's making. It's gonna be just so good. But then I like to add my own little flair on there. So I'll cook her a meal and she'll be like, who made this? Like she'll be so pleasantly surprised with the little twist that I put on certain foods that she already taught me how to make.
Wow, that is so good. And I heard you've been doing something sweet too, some sweets treats.
Well, I want to get into baking a little bit more. I want to try to make lemon bars. Have you ever had a lemon bar, Taffy?
I have, but the kind I'm trying to think, was it like prepackaged and purchased? But yeah, it was really small, good portion size.
Yeah.
I like the sour, sweet kind of thing with the lemon, it's not tart. Yeah.
Very good.
Mhm.
And I'm a sucker for anything with a graham cracker crust. I don't know about you, but isn't that good?
Very good.
Yeah. And the Oreo pie, I think those are one of those where you don't have to bake, you just mix in the ingredients. Have you ever had the Oreo pie? That's something I was looking to try to bake too, because it's one of those no bake recipes.
Got you. Not a big Oreo fan, but there's a
what?
pie.
Tell me what you say, girl.
Never have. I don't know.
What about the cream filling? Like, you could but not even the
Oreo cookies, the Oreo ice cream, cookie dough, none of that.
What about Chips Ahoy? Can we get you to get one Chips Ahoy if you like the cookies?
That's a stretch, but yeah, I would do it. I would try that.
Okay.
I'm a cake kind of person. I like the layer cake, and pies.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a cake girl. So that's when I do a sweet. If that's kind of what I like to do. Not a little tart, not a pie. Yeah,
okay.
I want the
how do you feel about red velvet, Taffy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that one of your faves, or is the verdict still out? Oh, you like that?
Yeah, I like red velvet. Love the cream cheese frosting. Anything. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a winner.
Well, I gotta ask you, what's your favorite flavor of cake?
My favorite flavor of cake?
Yeah.
My mother-in-law does a strawberry cake, which is amazing. And she does a
Ooh.
strawberry icing on the strawberry cake with actual strawberries in it. And
Oh,
so yeah,
that sounds so good.
it is
That
so
sounds
good.
so good. And I
Mhm.
just love your name, Taffy, because that's sweet altogether. I,
We got a
Taffy.
bakery here called Piece of Cake, and they do like a white chocolate, and that's one of my favorite bakeries, and they have a cream cheese frosting. It's so good. So shout
Oh,
out to
that
Piece of
sounds so
Cake.
good. I
Mhm.
love anything white chocolate, but you know what? I really go for the whipped topping. How do you feel about that? My mom's a buttercream girl, but I love whipped topping.
Yeah, I like
You
the
like it?
cream cheese. Not so much whip. That sounds healthy, and
So you go for the
look,
buttercream too?
yeah, I do like the buttercream. Mhm.
I can't win.
Yeah, so let's stop. Let's jump in here about this reality um part. How let's because I mean, hey, I love New York and being a reality star.
Mhm.
Um, I know that is something that has just taken over television, cable, everything. It's like so many people are endeavoring to go into that space, and as a result, people are misunderstood,
Yeah. Mhm.
judged. I'm sure you've had your share of being,
Absolutely.
yeah, perceived based on
Yes.
the characters and the fact that it took a while for people to understand that those shows were scripted, and you
Some
really,
of them now, cause mine, that was all me, girl. All me. But like, to allude to what you're saying, I feel like there's a lot of preconceived notions whenever you enter the room. People feel like they have me pegged. And if you're not careful, you could allow people to paint your story for you. Like I say, for instance, don't ever just know that you got me all figured out, because there's so many more facets to who I am. You know, a lot of the shows that I did was about, 12 to 15 years ago when they were at their height. But
Mhm,
in that time period, I'm a woman and I've grown, I've elevated in so many different ways. And there's so many things that, I want to try my hand at and do that may not be particularly, received as, wow, you want to do this now or that now. But I'm not really big on allowing people to tell me what my narrative is going to be or tell me what road direction I'm going to go down, because I'm always going to do what's best for me and what's best for my overall destiny and completion and legacy before I leave.
mhm. That's good because we do
Mhm.
control our narrative, and
Yes, yes, ma'am.
we all, I mean, decisions that we made 15 years ago and the growth. Hey, don't
Yes.
start pulling our files out because no telling what you might find. But like you mentioned, preconceived notions is a
Mhm.
big thing, where people are so quick to think they have you all figured out. But we're all on this journey of evolution. And that's
Yes.
what I love about this conversation is the fact that we can choose to evolve every single day. We don't have to wait till the pandemic is over. We don't have to think that people around us have to evolve before we evolve. Our lives are based on the choices and the decisions that we make each and every day. And God holds us accountable only for the things that we can control. And we cannot control other people,
Amen.
what they think, taking things personal. We can only make the decisions of how we want to tell our story and
Amen.
the influence that we can have on other people. And so I think this topic of toxic relationships, we're just going to jump right in, Tiffany. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine. That's a great topic to hit on tonight, Taffy.
Yeah. So it's not when I was Googling it and it came to me last night when I knew that we were going to talk, it's like a whole bunch of blogs on the signs.
Hmm.
Not a
Hmm.
lot of information on, other than the signs or the quiz. to determine if you're in one, or signs to look at what that looks like. And so it's a relatively new topic,
Yeah.
but it's not a lot of answers to recognize it and to really spend some time looking at it. So, have you ever been in a toxic relationship?
Well, when it comes down to relationships, I like to make it very personal, meaning that I can only speak to the ones that I've actually been in and
Right.
invested my time into. So I will say, because I'm sitting here so much more grown up, that I could effectively own my truth and say I single handedly was notorious for a long time of turning my own relationships toxic.
Wow,
And
there's a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, it's a lot.
That's powerful.
Hmm.
Now, I had a little definition. You know me, I always got a definition somewhere. Um,
I
I
thank
can't,
you for having that definition ready, Taffy.
here it is.
Yes.
Tiffany, a definition for a toxic relationship is a relationship that's characterized by insecurity, self-centeredness, dominance, and control.
Hmm.
And so,
Hmm.
please, those of you who are listening, and a toxic relationship is characterized by insecurity, self-centeredness, dominance, and control. Would you agree with that? What do you think about that, Tiffany?
If I was going to be honest, which I'm going to be, I'm sitting here with you. I say you hit it right out the ballpark. I mean, that is the nail on the head with that insecurity and having to be in control. And I think all it is just basically fear. Like what I would do is just show the guy of whoever I was, entertaining at that time, who was ever in my life in a romantic sense of the word, that I was going to be stronger than him. Like, I'm going to show him that I'm going to yell at him before he could yell at me. Or I'm going to show him that he needs to be afraid of me because just because I'm a woman, you're not going to push me around. So a lot of that was fear and me ultimately adding toxic layers to my relationship without even realizing it. And guess what? I wasn't even angry. I would pick fights and literally walk into the bathroom and go, like I would laugh, like, I got him, in the mirror to myself. So I had to learn, hey, that's not how you cultivate love. That's not a good love language. And yes, ma'am, sis, you're being toxic right now, Tiffany. So I'm at that place where I'm doing the work. Can I say I arrived? No, but I have left that place of, ultimately staying so toxic every single day. There's no need to do it. It's a waste of time.
That is amazing. I mean, you are in truth, living in your truth, owning your truth. That's
Thank you.
it really, really does. I mean, because a lot of times we are so quick to point the finger at
Amen.
our
True.
partner and just say, you're being toxic or you're doing too much, and not really understand the level of fear that we bring in and the baggage that we also
Yeah.
bring. Yeah,
And Taffy, some of these guys, they were relatively sweet individuals, but I never knew that guys had emotions and feelings and they needed to be nurtured, because you're always taught that a man is strong and, he can knock you over your head if he wanted to because he's so strong and powerful and, masculine. So
hmm,
me, I feel like that masculinity in a man, it actually it intimidated me. So it made me feel like, oh, I'm going to show him something. But why show him anything and he's not doing anything? No, men come with emotions, they come with sensitivity. And now I'm learning how to, harness that and not be angry for no reason.
that's so good. That's so good because sometimes you can um, develop that pattern. I
Yeah.
remember before I met my husband, just in terms of, like you said, trying to size them up or see how strong they are,
Yeah.
and all these things that we think really is not attractive at all. It's like the fear in and of itself. It's just like, deal with the fear because it is just it's a masquerade, and it really just is a cover up, covering up my insecurities. I was so afraid of being hurt. So it's like I
yes.
have to stay a step ahead of you to prevent
Mhm.
you from thinking about hurting me.
Wow.
You know, I wish you would,
Yeah.
because this will be a reason for me to show you another side of me, you know? So
There you go. Yes. Yes.
what we think or the things that we saw and that pattern that we have to break down and understand that it's not about that. And you can't build a strong, healthy relationship on fear. You cannot. It's going to fall every time.
Amen. So true.
It has to be
Absolutely.
built on love, the unconditional love of God, on the grace of God, you know, forgiveness, truth, authenticity,
Hmm.
um, and what we want from others. We have to be willing to give it ourselves. And so, um,
That's so true.
yeah.
And most of the guys, like, if you talk to them about these emotions, come to find out they were just as afraid as I was, you know? So, I'm doing this, I'm attacking you because I'm afraid of XYZ. So the more honest I was, the more it was like, no, you got me. I want you. I'm centered. You don't have to do those things. Now, mind you, I would equate the explosions with passion. Like if I explode, this is passion. That means this person really loves me because they're coming at me. Like, but that's all toxic. There's no reason to do that. If you want to role play, but there's no reason to cause conflict. So that's the
Mhm.
balance that I'm learning how to shape. And it feels really good. I'm in a good place.
That's good. Sound like you've been doing some work and just being honest, looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Ayanna said, you got to do the work.
Yes, you do.
Um, you feel like a toxic relationship can be fixed if a person who maybe is watching tonight and says, okay, I'm all tied up and tangled up in fear and
Mhm.
don't know if I can even, if, this relationship is just in shambles. People
Yeah.
are at each other in this pandemic. There's a lot of abuse going on, and people have said, I'm going to divorce as soon as this thing is over with, as soon as I get to the courthouse or whatever, this is done. But do you feel like a toxic relationship can be repaired?
I do, Taffy. And I think a large part of it goes back to what you were saying about accountability, doing the work. Are you willing to stand there and say, hey, I need to come up in these areas? I'm the one that's creating this scenario right now. And does that feel good in the moment? No, it doesn't. We want to own our feelings and validate them, even if they're the wrong emotion to be having at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to get to a place where you can say, you know what? I don't feel good about this, but I'm the one that's doing this and I'm the one that has to stop. And a lot of times in my relationship and me doing the work now, I would ask the Lord, like, give me strength. I don't want to fight this week. What can I do? And he'll just speak a calm word over me. Like, for instance, this week, the word of my week was be slow to anger. That's all I heard. So now I'm generating this all week long. Just be slow to anger. Anything happens, anything jumps off, don't react in anger. And that's good enough. I'll just take that
Mm-hmm.
little bit and apply it.
That is so good. Have you been able to? I know sometimes you get a word and
Yeah.
you realize, oh man, I might have missed it before you fly off the handle or whatever. So far, so good. You got one more?
Now I know I said I got the word, but have I been missing the mark? A little bit, but
There's always tomorrow,
yes.
a new day.
Hmm.
Repentance is always available. It's a prayer away, as they say, right?
Amen. That's right.
That is so good. So yeah, I think that toxic relationships can be fixed because we can be fixed. Just like
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany, you chose to change,
Hmm.
chose to evolve.
Yeah.
And because you chose to evolve, the relationship evolves.
Hmm.
And so once we can honestly assess where we are in our lives and say, okay, I don't want to be that way. It only requires a quality decision that I'm going to change and I'm going to continue to stay on that path. And granted, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to miss the mark. I'm
Mhm.
human, not going to be perfect, but I am committed to
Mm.
not allowing fear, control, dominance, insecurity, self centeredness to
Mm.
be prevalent and intentionally harm this individual. So I think we just have to be conscious about it. I think that's so important. But a toxic relationship can be fixed if the individual wants to change, and both parties. We know it takes two.
Yes, it does. Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
we can't
And
change people.
I love what you said about being committed. Oh, that's so good, Taffy. I mean, that commitment, like you said, it's not going to be an A plus every single day. But guess what? If you're committed, that C will turn into a B. That B will turn into a B plus. So you just keep adding the layers to it. But that commitment, I think that's a strong one to drive home.
Commitment, ladies.
Yeah.
This is, are we helping some folks over here? Somebody said, hey, Christina, what is the best thing to do if you've been in a relationship for over 10 years and you know it's time to leave? This is from Pam C. The best thing to do if you've been in a relationship and you know, hey, you know what? I think you have to make up in your mind that if that's where you feel like you need to do and it's run its course and you really feel like you've done everything that you can do,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make the decision to leave. And don't look back. Don't be guilty for the decision that you make, and make sure you have peace with the decision that you make. But if you're prematurely making the decision and you're not sure, you hadn't
Mm-hmm.
really thought it all the way through, and it's just maybe because you're in the pandemic and things are just tight,
Yeah.
and maybe everything is not falling in place like you thought. Just make sure you spend some time in prayer and think about it. And what would you add? Anything you want to add to that, Tiffany?
I mean, Taffy, that's such great, phenomenal advice that you gave her. um, I feel like you're right. You know, you just have to sometimes ultimately pull the plug, rip off the band aid, if you will, because sometimes we as ladies, we tend to procrastinate because that care for that gentleman, well, not gentleman, but that man who's acting up, that care for him is still there. So it's like, I have so much love for him, but this is not changing. And for her, I think her name was Christine, a decade is a very long time. So if that's not working out and it's been 10 years, that's a lot out of your life. So just think what you could do with it if you were to get away from that individual and just start a new path. And sometimes that change is so scary because you're like, okay, wow, I'm going to give up this guy. And he may have, let's say, out of 20 things, there's like 3 things that he does so well, and you'll be willing to risk the other 18 things, and you'll just take those 3 things and just stay there and not level up. Pull the
Mhm.
plug, rip the band-aid off, level up.
That's good. That's
Thank
really, really
you.
good. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta be good with it because if he moves on and he's with somebody else, or all of a sudden he just blossoms, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's like, no, feel good about the decision that you made, and make
Yeah.
sure that you can, I mean, you can live with it, as they say.
Mm-hmm. Surely
So,
can.
if you all have any other questions too, be sure to just pop them in here, and Tiffany and I are gonna do our best. Um, it's a good point. Esther mentioned if it's physical abuse, to call the police hotline to have an exit strategy. So we don't know what was prompting the decision to leave, Esther, but I mean, you make a very valid point.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
fact that, physical abuse, that's certainly a reason to leave every time.
Absolutely. I don't think physical abuse should be tolerated because now you're going to get into a cycle. fortunately that I don't know from experience, but you'll hear from ladies that, first they're covering up a black eye. Then they elevate from covering up a black eye to graduating to cover up a busted lip. And before you know it, you have bruises all over your body because, sis, you never left. So, yeah, physical abuse, I'm an advocate against it every time. That's reason to leave.
Absolutely. Can you cut toxic people off as a Christian? That was one of the questions that was, do you feel like, I know that's a thing. It's like at the end of the year, people want to, I'm cutting folks out of my life. I'm cutting them off. And so it's like, okay, can you cut somebody off who's toxic as a Christian?
Well, my mom always says this, and she still says this to this day. You can forgive someone, but if they're toxic towards you and what your mission is, you forgive them, but you separate yourself from them. And you speak love of them, and you can pray for them and all that good stuff. But if they're not a part of your mission and they're not going to help you excel, because a lot of times I feel like we keep relationships going with friends and acquaintances, even if they're robbing us of our joy. It's like, you know what? I got to talk to this person. Maybe I'm a little bit bored, or maybe this is going on or that's going on, or what are they going to think if I don't take their call anymore? But we have to value our time enough to go, hey, this friendship is not going anywhere, or this friendship or this acquaintance thing is just robbing me or always taxing me. Like, when are you going to feed into me? So those people that do that, they come and just, suck you dry, if you will, you have to cut them off sometime. And you're still, hey, your faith is not compromised. You're still a Christian. You're still going to heaven. You're just on a mission.
There you
So
go.
You can cut them off.
You can cut them off.
See you later. Yes.
Bye-bye. Sayonara. It's like, hey, you have to do what you have to do for your own insanity. At the end of the day, I mean, there's so much that people are dealing with, and you don't want to be insensitive, right? You don't want to.
Right.
I mean, it's like relationships and maybe people you grew up with, but at some point it's like, I'm just like trying to be the best version of me. And every time I talk to you, you pulling me back and trying to get me to stuff that, hey, we did when we were in high school or when we were in college and when we were single, but it's like a new day.
Yeah, and that is so good.
Yeah.
The new day.
It's a new day. It really.
And you have a new way of doing certain things that you didn't do before. I have a new way of adapting to this new me. So yeah, you're so right. You know what I do, Taffy, when it's time to let somebody go? I let the text messages pile up. Then they try to call me. Then I let the calls go to voicemail. You keep doing that enough, they'll get the picture.
As my kids say, you go ghost.
Yes, go ghost.
You go ghost. It's like, we are not responding. MIA. And I guess they have to read between the. Well, there's no lines to read. It's like,
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you really do, because I mean, we only get to live once. Life is precious, and your peace is everything. I've learned that the older I get, the more important I see the need for just peace, to be able to think clearly. There's so much confusion, so much fear, so much anxiety, hysteria, and that's all we have is our thoughts. And sometimes people, if you let them in your space, it's like, man, I can't even think straight. And you're robbing me.
Yeah, so, I'm with you on that. Like how Pastor always says, if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. I've adopted that way of life. I realize I'm no good if I don't have peace. Like, I have to have peace. And way back in the day, about 2 years ago, I went to the doctors and my cortisol level was so high up. And she just came in the room. She was like, what are you worried about? Like, what's going on with you? I didn't have enough peace. So I started to, adapt a healthier eating lifestyle and stop being so prone to worry and just rest and cast my cares. And now my cortisol levels, there are no cortisol. Like it's normal, it's gone. So we have to really take care of that mental. It's so important not to let those thoughts accumulate, roll around, and then they get big, 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 and then they affect your body and your health. And that is so not good.
That's true. Daily diet, exercise, all those things help with cortisol and get straight too. Yeah, that's one thing I've learned in this pandemic because I wasn't as focused on health and just vitamins and keeping my immune system strong and just.
You look beautiful, Taffy. Do you drink a lot of water?
I do.
Yes, I can see it.
I mean, I was mindful of it, but just the degree now.
Yeah.
What has happened with so many people and just the importance of it's like, wow, this is the real deal,
Yeah, it is the real deal.
Coronavirus is working 24/7. And we have to be mindful of our health, what we're, like I said, how much water we're drinking and how much sugar and just all those things.
And you brought up vitamins. That's so important to pop that multivitamin. Make sure that immune is up to battle.
That's so good. How would you know if you or your partner is toxic?
Well, for me, I would say I would always attract, and I still do, I attract very caring males, men that just want to, make sure I'm good. And they're pretty much not very explosive. So I would wear a lot of the toxicity at times, because I'm like, hey, I want to just see how hard this guy can go. So you can liken it to like jabbing a pit bull, if you will, with a stick. Like, hey, you're supposed to come with testosterone. Let me see it. Let me see it. I bet you I can show you that I'm more stronger than you can ever be on your best day. So I think things like that, being toxic, you can bring that into the relationship when it was never even there or ever something that you had to live through. So I was actually self-sabotaging myself at every cost because I thought that this was a measurement that I would have to intersect into a relationship to see the degree in which this man could, go. But
right.
I don't have to do that. There's no need for me to do that, right, Taffy?
No need to do it. So was it pointed out to you, Tiffany, where he'd say, okay, this was something that you recognized from him pointing it out, or was it something that you had an epiphany and you were like, okay, I'm being toxic and I've got to work on me?
Well, Taffy, I just think that it was the vicious pattern that I could no longer not pay attention to. If, like they said, if this problem keeps arising, then you must be a part of the problem. So it's about having those real conversations with yourself and getting yourself over to the side and not beating yourself up, but just taking off the mask and being really real and saying, hey, what can you change? Why does this keep coming up? This guy's not cheating on you. He's not doing this. He's not doing the most. You talk to other ladies, they're having all kind of problems. But why do you keep sabotaging your relationship? So it was just about having those truthful conversations.
That's good. So it's like a pattern. So you saw from one relationship to the next one.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the previous one. It's like, okay, the common denominator is me. I keep showing up, as my husband says. This marriage to the next marriage, and you think the grass is green on the other side. A friend of mine says, then you realize it's artificial turf.
Right.
Not that it needs to be mowed too, but it's artificial turf.
That is the truth.
But it's like, you saw the pattern. And some people live their whole life, Tiffany, and they don't even see the pattern.
I think
that's the sad part,
it's very sad, Taffy, but what would you call that? A denial or just wanting to live in that destructive way? Like, I wouldn't know how to classify it, because I wouldn't be in that because I decided to step out and do the work.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just have to look in the mirror and be honest. that's not happiness. It's not a fun place to be when you're living in fear and denial and defense and all of that stuff. It's like that's a lot of energy to have to keep up and
Yeah, to
you
keep up.
know, yeah, in that world where you're the victim or everybody else is
Mhm.
the problem, and it's a lot.
It is a lot, but you could take the steps toward coming out of that lot, and just getting
Mhm.
into just more of a for self, because like a man, like I don't feel like I need a guy or a relationship to know who I am and to be on my mission to complete me. Like I think those things are blessings. Those are additives to the life that you already have to lead for yourself. So I mean, if I'm gonna be a mate, I want to be a darn good one. I want to do the best I can. So for me, it was just about doing the work, holding yourself accountable. Or hey, if you're not gonna be a good mate, Tiff, just be by yourself. So those were the choices.
Yes. Every day we get to choose the type of life and the person that we're going to be. Who's going to show up, you know?
Yes, that's so true. Who's gonna show up?
Yeah, who's going to show up? This is a good comment right here. I think I might have just missed it, but
Uh-oh, what they say?
it was really good. Let me try to scroll back up here. Monica says it's hard, especially if children are involved. The length of time makes it harder, but a narcissistic spouse or partner should not be tolerated.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse is still abuse, and no one deserves to receive it. You have to let the fear go and move in your best interest. That's true.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really insightful.
Yeah, particularly with children.
Mhm.
She's exactly right because there's that additional uh, connection, the bond, and it's like, oh, that's the father my children or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
But yeah, a lot of times we have to realize we're doing better and more for them by leaving toxic relationships
Oh
and
yes,
staying in a relationship,
yeah.
because children are absorbing the environment. They're taking in and observing what we're doing and they're learning the patterns and things. So it's like, yeah, it is hard, but
Mhm.
think about their future relationships and how it will affect them if we don't move on and have the respect for ourselves and the love for them to show them how much we love them by demonstrating, okay, I love myself enough that I'm not going to allow myself to be mistreated or you to be abused. And I'm just not going to tolerate it. We teach people how to treat us.
Oh
And as
yes.
long as we allow that, it'll continue to happen, that pattern. But once we stand up to it and we resist it and we say, no, I'm not going to tolerate this.
Mm.
Um, and then we can get what we deserve.
Amen. Oh, Taffy, that's so good. So good. And like you're saying, when there's children involved, they're little sponges. Children, I don't have any. Well, I have my dog, but they soak up everything and the good and the bad. They're paying attention, guys. So, I mean, if you can't really do it for yourself and leave, but do it for the children every time, walk away for them because they're catching it. They hear the bickering. You can't really keep anything from a child. They're privy to it.
That's true. They are. They hear it. They know. They see you crying.
Mm-hmm.
You sad. They don't want you to be unhappy, and they want you to be happy and live life and enjoy your life and be happy with them. So
That's so true.
let's see. Dee Dee says she stayed in a toxic relationship for almost 8 years. Moving on was the best thing that I've ever done. That's good, Dee Dee. I've got
Oh,
8 years, long,
congratulations. Dee Dee,
long
that's
time.
awesome.
Yeah, that is long, and that's not easy.
Mm-hmm. Did she was in the toxic relationships for
Yeah,
8 years, or she been toxic free for 8 years? I'm sorry.
she was in a toxic relationship for 8 years and
Oh,
decided to move on.
wow, good for her. I mean, that had to take an amount of courage for her to do that because when you're in those relationships, a lot of times the guy can be sole provider, or he could be contributing a lot, or the woman could be using his car to get around, like, driving his car, or he could be doing this or that, XYZ. And a lot of women don't want to leave the perks. Like, who does, But you have to go, like how you're saying, like the inner is more important than the perks. Like, so what? You can't get 3 diamond tennis bracelets this year because he's no longer in the picture. Maybe you can save up and get yourself one, in a couple of years. Stuff like that. It's like a trade-off. But your mental health and yourself is more wealth than anything else that a man could ever provide or give you.
That's so good. Mental health is your wealth. That's the new wealth, isn't it, Tiffany?
It really is. I want it all. Give me that money. That's what mental health is, my new currency.
I've been saying the same thing. I said health is the new wealth,
Wow. Health is the new wealth. Yes.
Being healthy, mental health. It's the new wealth. It's like, wow, what can we do without a solid mindset and just a solid, healthy body? It's so true. Well, let's see, what else? Toxic relationships.
What a topic.
Yeah. Let's see. We already talked about how your reality persona is not a true perception, ladies, of who Tiffany is. She has evolved and she has grown.
I have. And, I just like to say that New York is still very much a part of who I am. But now there's additives. There's so much more that goes into who she has accumulated herself to be. I could still get at that level. But you know what? I don't have to if I don't choose to. You know what I mean? Like, there's way more choice involved. You can't just get this. I have to decide to give it to you.
And I know behind God, that heart is just as pure and pure as gold. And it's piercing through tonight, and just been a joy to just hear and know that you have evolved. You're continuing to evolve, and we all have that side. I tell my husband sometimes, like, hey, my mom's name is Ethel. It's like, hey, don't make that now. Okay. Tucked away real good now. Don't I got a friend.
Come on back. Yeah.
That's right. A friend of mine, she went home to be with the Lord my BFF several weeks ago. She would have a book of cuss, and she like, hey, I didn't bury the book of cuss. Now don't make me dig it back up.
I will dig it right back up. Yes.
So yeah, it's like really refreshing to hear your testimony and to see your walk with God and how God is doing such a tremendous work in your life. The entertainment industry is something that is very strong, and you can easily get sucked into a lot of different things by trying to live up to the narrative. But I'm glad that you're creating your own narrative. You're telling your own story and rewriting your story. We all have every day to write it over again. So.
Yes. Thank you so much, Taffy. And I just want to say, I need to brag on you for a second, because I just want you to understand what a blessing you have been. You and your husband, Quefflo Dollar, your ministry has basically been such a practical go-to in my everyday life. The way you guys just upload that great content, it's always readily available to my access every day to just help me work through certain things. Like, I just cannot stress enough to what a huge blessing you and your ministry has been, and continuously is such a blessing throughout my life and all my family members. We just love and adore you guys so much, and we're always praying for you. World changers, baby.
Hey, wow, that means so much. Oh my God, sending you a big virtual hug. We gotta
right back at you.
Once this whole thing is behind us, just to let you know, I appreciate the compliments, and it's just a blessing that we get to do what we do and help to make a difference in somebody's life. So I applaud you and just salute you. Thank you for spending your Thursday night with me and encouraging our ladies on Ladies Night. And ladies, I hope you enjoyed Tiffany and enjoyed just this small time together, and just know that this pandemic is going to be over before we know it. So let's continue to make the most of the time, be happy, stay strong, just keep it fun, keep it light, and keep it moving.
Thank you. Goodbye, ladies. You guys, please stay inspired and be encouraged. We're going to get through this. You have more than enough friends than you know. Everybody's praying for everybody. Everybody's in your corner. Just never feel alone. If I could leave on that note, I just don't want anybody to ever feel alone. Someone's rooting for you. Just remember that. Just keep going and pushing. And me and Taffy got y'all back, right, Taffy?
That's right. We got you. We got you. We are in this together, and just stay strong, ladies. Stay encouraged, and just know that the end, this too shall pass, and we're going to come out stronger, better, and some great things are happening. So big thank you, Tiffany, again.
You got it. The best is yet to come.
That's right. That's right. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
All right. God bless y'all.
Thank you all.